Resonance presents an imaginative day of artist expression, April 18th, starting at 3 p.m. Enjoy Louisiana artists and musicians like Damon Batiste. This is a 21 and up event. General admission is $50 with tables available for purchase. Come experience the culture.
Hey, did you know Long's Products is a family-owned janitorial supply with mops, brooms, trash bags, and they even have food service disposables, carry-out plates, and to-goes? Check us out.
Good morning, Central Louisiana, and welcome to the Let's Talk Show morning edition here on Urbancast. I'm your host, Jack. Before we get started, we want to remind everyone who's listening in to check your voter registration status. Nearly 500,000 voters across Louisiana have been moved to the inactive rolls. If you don't take action, you could eventually be purged. Make sure your voice is heard. We also want to thank our silver sponsor, Acadian Ambulance, for their continued support of community conversations like we're having this morning. This morning, we're kicking off our Marksville mayor's race coverage with Councilman Carl Chapman. For those watching live, drop your questions in the comments. We may bring them into the conversation. Carl, welcome to the show, and we'll start by giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me on. And just to put in a plug on your comment about the voters' status, you know, it's really easy to check your voter registration status on Go Vote. You know, an app that you can bring onto your phone that's really easy for you to use, and it's a great tool to have. So yeah, my name is Carl Chapman. I'm currently serving as the District 1 City Councilman in Marksville, and I am running for mayor in Marksville this May.
Mm-hmm. Carl, tell us a little bit why you're running for mayor.
Well, first and foremost, I'm running for mayor of Marksville because I love Marksville. And you know, over the years, in my adult years and my time as a city councilman, I've heard so many people, you know, are ready for a change in Marksville. And I think that, you know, my years of management have allowed me the skills to be able to help the city move forward.
You're speaking about the change. What specific changes are you looking to bring to the city of Marksville?
Well, you know, we need a change in, you know, transparency and accountability here in Marksville. We need a change in our direction of economics as far as, you know, where are we developing? Are we developing? We need to put some emphasis on our economic growth here in Marksville, because it seems like we have a stagnant city currently.
And what are you hearing directly from the residents about their biggest concerns?
Some of their biggest concerns is the lack of communication that is currently happening with the residents of Marksville. You know, that people have heard over and over and over, you know, that we don't have any money. We don't have any money. But, you know, they're wondering how all of the neighboring municipalities here in Evalds Parish are doing things that we as the county seat are not able to do. You know, and I've worked for a long time in grants, in and around grants, you know, and I know that there are grants out there. You know, the question is from, you know, constituents, as well as, you know, people that I've spoken to across, you know, municipality lines, is, are we going after that supplemental funding? If we're not, why are we not? And, you know, those are great questions. Those are questions that deserve answers. And, you know, the people deserve answers on why we're not going after that funding. You know, we don't currently have a grant writer in place. Why not? You know, those are tools that will help us succeed in the city. and we're failing our people that way.
You talked about the grants. So what would your plan be to hire that grant writer? And are there specific styles of grants for municipalities that you would be looking to apply for and different things of that nature?
So to answer the first part of your question, I've worked in government before, specifically tribal government for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe in a process. I believe in a policy that should be put forth whenever we are, whenever we're advertising for services to be rendered to the city.
Mm-hmm.
A fair process that would, list these requests in the newspaper and other platforms, as far as social media and whatever it takes for us to reach the people these days.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as what grants, that would be up to the grant writer. What we need to do first is formulate a plan. What does the master plan for Marksville look like? And we would rely heavily on the grant writing team to advise us on what's out there and what would benefit us the most.
You mentioned that you have experience in government, specifically with the tribal governance. And healthcare management. How do you think those particular skills are going to help you manage the city of Marksville?
Well, tribal government is different.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first person to say that. But, it is a form of government,
mm-hmm.
which gives you a baseline as it relates to, relationship building, available funding that may be out there, and people that you've met over the years that work in state, local, federal government that can provide you with the resources that you need to benefit the municipality that you're serving. As far as my time in healthcare management, management across the lines is similar. You learn how to manage daily operations. You learn how to manage people, because all of your people are different, just like our kids, they're different and you got to manage them different. You apply your skill sets and you learn who you have working for you, and you identify what you need to do to make them be able to do their job better, to help them be able to do their job better. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a place where we need to get to as well. Us putting some strength behind our employees, identifying across the city, what our shortcomings are and where we need to pay more attention.
Now, you talked about the economic development. Specifically, how do you plan to strengthen the local workforce there in Marksville?
Well, that too, economic development is really about, making relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Economic development is about marketing the city that you have. Mm-hmm. We have to look at how we're currently marketing Marksville. Are we currently marketing Marksville? And if we are, what does that look like? And do we need to change the direction in which we are trying to market what we have? I mean, we have a beautiful city here. We've got a casino that's been here for 32 years. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of people who say, what's changed since the casino is here? That casino has dumped a lot of money into the city in tourism and tax. What do we see because of that? I've had a lot of people tell me in my time campaigning that it seems to me like we have less now than before the casino came. And, I see that. And we need to identify why it looks that way.
Okay. Over the weekend, we learned about a new House bill that House Bill 1165 would eliminate the Marksville and Bunkie City courts and shift that system to the district level. As a candidate for mayor, what is your position on this bill, and how do you believe it would impact access to justice and local jobs in Marksville?
I briefly read what was put out as it relates to this bill. From my interpretation of what I've seen from the information that's been put out, this doesn't seem to me like it would benefit Marksville. It seems to me like, you mentioned justice. It seems to me like this would prolong justice. Having to deal with these things at a district level. It seems to me like we could more effectively address these issues at the city level in the current, state of the city court. Now, do we need to put some attention at the city court level? Possibly, but I don't think that we need to move our city court into a district court situation.
Okay. With
the information that I currently have.
All right. Well, one of the things that we observed over the weekend is that it was a ton of concerns about knowledge of this particular bill being introduced. Most folks said they didn't know anything about it. So, do you know if local leaders were, you're a council person over there in Marksville, and so as a council person, were you made aware that this bill was being introduced?
No, I had no knowledge of it until it hit the social media platform. I've spoken in length with another city councilman here in Marksville, and that individual had absolutely no knowledge of it either.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Many residents connect LICA youth programs to rising crime in the communities. What specific recreational or engagement programs would you push for as mayor to give young people positive alternatives to help reduce crime in the city of Marksville?
Well, we've got to get away from how we're currently entertaining our young people, because at this point there's really not much for them at all. So as adults, what do we think? What have we heard in our past? About an idle mind. And we've got to find something. We've got to find something for our young people to engage in. We've got to offer more than we're offering now. Whatever that looks like, that's going to rely heavily on community engagement. The people that, the leaders that we currently have in place in the community now. My thoughts on that and other things is, do we need to form some committees citywide with representatives from each district to come in and give us ideas on how we can prepare something and deliver something to the young folks of Marksville? And not only should we limit that to the young folks, but to the people from birth to old age.
Mm-hmm. As the first Native councilman, how has that shaped your leadership approach? All your leadership over with working within the tribal council, working for the casino there in Marksville, and then becoming city council person. How do you think that shaped your leadership approach to things?
Well, I don't allow my tribal affiliation to weigh in on how I vote at the city level, how I help the rest of the body govern at the city level. I'm always mindful of my heritage, as everyone is, and know that the tribe has played a great role in where Marksville is today. I think that an increased collaboration with not only the tribe but the other stakeholders that we have in Marksville could increase what we're doing, could complement what we're doing. But I'm thankful for the time that I had in the tribe. I give credit to the current tribal council that has mentored me over the years, from a young boy being on the reservation to growing up kind of in tribal politics. I told many people I never thought that all of my years in the reservation and working for the tribe would have prepared me for what I'm doing today, but it really has.
So if elected, what are the first three things that you would address immediately?
So immediately, I want for us to focus on bringing the city's operation into 2026, because we're currently operating far behind that. And that will affect the communication, accountability, and transparency with the constituents of Marksville. Equally as important as that is addressing the city's charter and getting that to a place that will help us move Marksville in a more positive direction. And focus on our business practices, focus on our employees, giving them the support that they need, and getting them into a place where it's easier for them to do the work they were hired to do.
Carl, before I get ready with this last question, and I'm gonna go ahead with the question. Why should voters choose you over the other two candidates there in Marksville?
Well, I've told people that I'm the face of change. I want to see a different style, a different direction than what we have been moving in here in Marksville in the past, decade. I've always expressed fairness and accountability in all of my work that I've done. And I think that the taxpayers of Marksville deserve that.
So you've said style, accountability, and transparency. What does accountability and transparency look like to you that you don't see today?
So accountability is me being out there with the people, us being out there with the people. I need for the voters of Marksville, I need for the taxpayers of Marksville to see me. And I need to be out there, listening to their concerns, addressing their concerns and issues. I think that's what we're all voted in place to do. Transparency to me is, providing the taxpayers of Marksville with information from the city level. What do our budgets look like? What do our current financial holdings look like? When we're making purchases, when we're doing transactions with taxpayers' money, they need to know about that. They deserve to know about that.
And I guess, just looking at the comments that are coming in, Carl, people say, a political person is making the promises and different things of that nature. But on the back end of this thing is you definitely outline accountability and transparency. How do your constituents, the people of Marksville, how do they know that you've done it? How will they be able to hold you accountable for what you just said? Because it seems to be an issue across the board. And so tell them how they will be able to hold you accountable, that these are just not empty words that you're pushing out right now.
Well, the first thing is, like I've told people in the past, when I've been confronted with different questions, because in my time campaigning, I've been presented with questions about rumors going around about me firing all the city employees. I have absolutely no intention on firing the city employees. The city employees are a vital role in this puzzle that we're trying to put together. I've been presented with rumors about me hiring my friends to work at the city level. And that too is false. I have no intention on hiring my friends or my family. I know that that's not a good mix, and it's just good business practice that you just don't do those things. You can, and I've told those people in those conversations, my word is what I have to give to you. And I've worked very hard on that. I've worked very hard, making a name for myself with people, where they can trust me and talk to me and know that I'll hold conversations confidential and I'll circle back to them and I'll reassure them that, what I'm telling you is what my plans are. Will we hit a home run on every pitch? No. But you know what? If what I'm telling you is not what I deliver, then in 4 years, you have the power to take me out of where I am.
Okay. All right. And Carl, before we get out of here, you have anything else that we didn't cover? I know someone just put up a question about the House Bill 1165, but we did ask Carl about House Bill 1165. And so if you guys go back and review it, it's there. Let's see here. Here's one, Carl, that just popped in here. I'm going to put it up on the screen there. I think it's also over on your side. I'm going to go ahead and take it down, Carl.
Yeah.
How would you answer her question there?
Well, I was reading through the first part because apparently there was a delay when it came up and I didn't have much time.
I'll put it back.
Okay.
Just let me know when you're done, because it's a long one.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so I see where it finishes. We don't even have communication to let citizens know of a ball advisory, and our charter still says that African Americans, and it stops there.
Okay. You can't.
So apparently I can't see the whole thing.
No, it stopped there. It stopped there. It just went ...
Okay.
It kind of sounded like it kind of sounded like it was alluding. I don't know your charter, but it sounds like it still has something in the charter that.
Yeah. So the charter actually, as it's written, there are there are four of us who actually shouldn't even be sitting on the city council the way the charter is currently written. And that's problematic.
Right.
It states only white tax-paying men should be sitting on the city council. So we have two African Americans. We have myself as a Native American, and we have a female that are currently sitting on the city council that, as the charter is written, shouldn't be. So that's a problem. We're in 2026 and we're still operating under a charter that has that statement in it. And we haven't, for whatever reason, we have not found it important enough to address all these years. I saw that there was a statement in there about supporting local business. If anybody trolls my Facebook page, you can see that I spend a lot of time promoting our local businesses because they too are key pieces to the puzzle that we're trying to put together here. Dumping money into our tax base, and we need them. Yeah, I also saw in that post communication with our taxpayers. Yeah, there's got to be a way in 2026 for us to establish a more streamlined and efficient way of communicating, whether it be some mass text message, someone who is constantly updating our social media platforms. I mean, because that's the way that people are operating these days. And like I've told people lately, change is here, change is coming. Whether you keep up with it or not, it's still changing.
I hear you. It is. There's a lot of, being in this thing called the media space. We see it all the time. But the refreshing thing is, Carl, there are municipalities, there are police and organizations that are embracing it, and they are embracing that the traditional ways of getting information out, it has changed. And so with that said, I think the possibilities are definitely there, but there are organizations that do resist the new flow of information, because it represents the information going directly to the people without a middleman to set a narrative per se. I think it would be refreshing. I really believe the more information that the people know directly, the better things will be, because then they now know how to hold elected officials accountable. So,
right.
And this isn't about me, but when it comes into that information kind of flow thing, I'm gonna be on the people's side to help hold you accountable to that.
Right. And it's frustrating, because there are things currently that take place in my district that I don't know about until I receive a message from one of the residents. That's frustrating.
Okay. Well, yeah. I think the way we get information is certainly changing today, and it's really important. But I'm glad I got you on record over there saying, hey, I want to make sure that people are going. Should you win, I'm gonna hold you to that. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna need your help to hold me to that. You and everyone else.
All right, y'all hear Carl saying this. All right. Well, Carl, before we get out of here, do you have anything that you'd like to say to your
just one last time? I'd like to thank you for this. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. It's been a pleasure doing this campaign. I've been welcomed by so many people that I knew before, and have been able to reconnect with, and people that I'm meeting for the first time. It's absolutely been a pleasure, and I've really enjoyed it. And I just ask you, if you're ready for change, if you want accountability and more transparency, vote for me. Vote for Carl Chapman, number 44 on your upcoming ballot.
Carl, we'll appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. To everyone watching again, make sure you guys remember to go check your voter registration status, and you can go out there to www.govote.com and do that. I mean, it's real straightforward. But with nearly a half a million people on that list, it's a significant number of people in a Vols Parish that's going to be impacted by this. And you don't want to wait until it's too late. We want to thank our silver sponsor, Acadian Ambulance, and our business partners, Sadler's Towing, Long's Products, Nader International Market, Threadhead Embroidery, Elegance Beauty Supplies, and Old Mill Farms. I'm Jack. This is Urbancast. You guys make sure y'all stay informed, stay engaged, and hold your politicians accountable. Again, Carl, if you can hang in there, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Resonance presents an imaginative day of artist expression, April 18th, starting at 3 p.m. Enjoy Louisiana artists and musicians like Damon Batiste. This is a 21 and up event. General admission is $50 with tables available for purchase. Come experience the culture.
Hey, did you know Long's Products is a family-owned janitorial supply with mops, brooms, trash bags, and they even have food service disposables, carry-out plates, and to-goes? Check us out.